Money, money, money. It's the stuff that makes the world go round, innit? But for a lot of us young uns that have just graduated from university, we end up losing more than we actually make. And that's at the very start of our careers. Student loan debt in any walk of life is some of the most wicked debt entrapment that anybody could ever find themselves in. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you why, despite what the government may label as fair terms and conditions, you should overpay on your loan and you should get it off your chest as quickly as possible. Now, just in case anybody's wondering what makes me qualified to speak on this subject, yes, I can confirm I did go to university. I did not use the bank of mum and dad. I didn't pay for it out of my own back pocket. I did the same thing that the majority of students in the UK do, which is turn to student finance. So at the time of recording, and honestly it wouldn't surprise me if things elevated quite dramatically in the coming months or years, but at the time of recording, student loans in the UK are priced at £9,250 per annum. And that's on top of any maintenance loans that you get as well to help you with your living costs, your expenses, that kind of stuff. So if you're looking at doing a 4-year degree, for example, then you'd be looking at on average about £45,000 worth of student debt. Now, call me paranoid if you like, but that's a really large number, and I'm not particularly comfortable with owing someone that much money. But don't panic, is the reason we often hear from those in charge. Because they just put their arms around our shoulder and say, oh, you don't need to pay anything back unless you're earning over a certain amount per year. In this case, £27,500 per year. Now as a graduate, you'd be looking at that and thinking, oh yeah, great, whoopie-doo, happy days, I don't have to pay anything back on the loan. But what they don't tell you is that while you're not paying anything back on your loan, it'll just be sitting there in that pot, accumulating a whole bunch of compound interest month on month. Now, given the pretty large scale of the number already, that is a very terrifying prospect. Like, that is very scary. That is very, very scary. And I'll be honest with you, bruv, I was only made aware of this very recently. Like, the very first time I logged into my managed student loan portal and saw, for the first time, that number printed there in black and white, I thought to myself, rah, I gotta get this paid off, man. Because I'd taken out £50,000 in student loan debts. And when I saw that figure, as of that day that I first logged in, I owed £65,000 back. Yes, you heard me correctly. 65 G's, bruv. 65 grand. Bang out of order. But I wasn't going to sit there and cry, bruv. You know, I'm a man. I take responsibility for my actions. I signed the agreement. It was my signature on them terms and conditions. So I thought, okay, if this is the game you want to play, then I'll play this game as well. And I'm going to beat you, man. I'm going to get this paid off, and I don't even have to wait till it gets cleared. Trust me, I'm going to get this paid off within the next 2 years. 2 years. £65,000 worth of debt paid off in 2 years. Now, the secret on debt is to overpay. That's the only way you're ever going to get this loan paid off, is that if you overpay. Now, I was very lucky with what I did because back in my uni days, I had quite a lot of money saved up from part-time jobs that I was doing. So I ploughed all of them savings into the student loan. That's why within the space of six months, I've got 65k down to 48k. So as of today, I owe £48,481.63 back. It's still a very large number. I'm not very comfortable with it being that high, but we are so much closer to getting this paid off. And I genuinely believe that if I discipline myself and focus, I can get this paid off within the next 1.5 years. Another argument I hear quite a lot from people though, when it comes to the whole student loan system here, is that people say if you can't pay back the whole loan after 30 years, then it just gets written off. So say you left university at 21, and you started making payments from the age of 21. When you reach 51, if you still have money to owe, the government will just write it off. Write off however much you owe and that's it. You don't have to pay back anything else. And the big problem I have with it is that when you are eventually eligible, and you're over that threshold, and you can start making the repayments, it's an extra tax you're carrying with you for life. It's a graduate tax, bruv. And we've already got enough in the UK as it is. You've got your income tax, you've got your national insurance, you've got your pension fund, and then you've got an extra one with your graduate tax. Bruv, how many more taxes do we need? What are you going to have left on your pay slips? You're going to have nothing. It's ridiculous, bruv. It's ridiculous. And on top of that, more often than not, yeah, your actual deduction is going to be less than the interest they're charging you month on month anyway. Like, take me for example. My monthly deduction is £97 on my student loan, right? £97 a month on my payslip is going. The interest that I'm getting accumulated on my student loan is £300 a month. So I'm not actually doing anything to tackle the debt just by letting them deduct itself. I'm losing money. It's like, what's the point in losing money over the next 30 years if it's not going towards paying off the debt? Get it paid off quickly and then you don't have to bother with that anymore. You can just write it off and say, right, that's it, it's done. That extra £97 a month is mine. But listen, I really do understand this when I say everyone has a different financial situation. Some people are at a point where they can't afford to do it with the financial struggles that are going on here and around the world with rent, inflation. Some people maybe just can't afford to overpay. So let me stress this, and please pay attention to what I'm saying when I say this. Do not overpay if you cannot afford it. Last thing I want any young person in the UK to do is throw all their money at debt and not having enough left over to survive. Priorities have to be set straight. I'm very lucky with the situation that I have because I've got a good income stream. I've got good savings from the work that I was doing at university and previous to that as well. I'm in a place where I can afford to overpay on my student loan. If you can't, and if you don't have the financial resources to do so just yet, do not panic. Do not panic because the time will come. You've just got to be patient. You've just got to make sure you survive to get to the point where you can actually afford to overpay. Look, I'll be the first to call it for what it is, guys. It's a shit situation. It's a really shit situation. But we can't sit back and cry. We got to deal with the cards we've been dealt. And we got to move forward, you know. We all put our names on the dotted line. Now, whether we're going to let those guys in charge control what we do for the next 30 years, that's a decision each and every one of us has to make for ourselves. But I can tell you now from my perspective, there's no way I'm letting these guys have their hands on my throat for the next 30 years. But what do you guys think? You know, let me know in the comments below if you're in the UK and if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. You know, if you think there's a better way to go about managing the loan, or if you're from abroad. If you're from another country entirely, let me know what's going on with your situation over there. How are they pricing you with education over there? Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you for clicking on the video and watching it through. It means the world to me. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay focused, and above all, enjoy life and take care, man. I'll see you all real soon.